New Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson was seen working out with former Seahawks teammate DK Metcalf in LA this morning. Could a trade for Metcalf still be possible for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I'll cover that first up on today's edition of Steelers Talk. Then we'll get into the latest around Justin Fields and a potential extension that could follow in the same vein as what Jordan Love got last offseason. And then make sure you guys stick around because we got a new Steelers wide receiver target revealed by Bleacher Report. And it's one that we haven't talked about on the show yet. So make sure you guys stick around to the very end. But before we get into it, we're trying to pass the Chiefs report in total subscribers here at Chat Sports. We're trying to move into the top 10 of all channels here in the company. All right, now we're a little bit behind here. We're about, a little bit less than 800 subscribers away. But if I know anything about Steelers Talk fans, I know that this fan base can come out in big numbers. We put up over 600 subscribers in a video last month. I know that we can do it again. Let's catch up to the Chiefs report right now, and let's show Harrison Graham and the Chiefs fans who's boss. We all know Steelers fans are the best fans in the world, and my goal is to pass them by training camp, all right? So maybe we don't pass them today. That's fine, all right? But my goal is to pass them by training camp, and when the season gets here, we are a top 5 company, or top 5 channel in total subscribers here at Chat Sports. And guys, new viewers, we are counting on you guys. The people that have been here, the people that have been the real ones for such a long time, they can't help us out here. It's got to be the new people. It's got to be the people that haven't clicked that subscribe button yet. So help out our channel right now. Help us pass the Chiefs report by clicking that subscribe button right now. So now let's get into the DK Metcalf stuff today. And this is definitely interesting because Russell Wilson was working out with his former Seahawks teammate in LA at the UCLA campus this morning. And Russ had his personal trainer post a video of Russ throwing to DK and talking about how special their connection is. I wonder why Russ would have his trainer do that. Well, this is what John Shackleton, who trains Russell Wilson in the offseason, had to say. Crazy watching Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf train this morning. 6 a.m. Connection special. John Ursha, so smooth too. So listen, man, when it comes to this situation, it certainly seems likely that Russell Wilson knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to having this workout with DK Metcalf at UCLA and then posting about it or having his trainer post about it on social media. It's very obvious to me that Russ absolutely knows what he's doing, and he's trying to tell the world, including Omar Khan and the Steelers, that this is somebody that I want to work with just about every single day. And Joey, don't forget about the L3s here that we have scripted. But we also got DK Metcalf here. I think also DK, he had to give the green light for them to post this video and to disclose that they are working together, right? So I think DK probably knows about this, that they wanted to put this out, and I think that this is also a calculated move on the part of DK Metcalf to let the Seahawks know, yeah, man, if you don't take care of me here, I'm not going to hesitate rejoining Russell Wilson, potentially with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the future, and kind of expand on this connection that we have already built. Now, the only problem with the Steelers getting DK Metcalf in a trade is that it's a two-way thing, right? The Seattle Seahawks have to agree to a trade, and right now, if you believe any of the beat reporters surrounding the Seattle Seahawks right now, the Seahawks are not willing to get rid of DK Metcalf via trade before the start of the season. There is some speculation that post-June 1st, maybe Seattle might be willing to deal him, but I mean, that date has come and gone. Nothing has changed there, so I don't think Seattle wants to get rid of DK, and honestly, they would be dumb to get rid of DK Metcalf, all right? He is such a unique talent. He's still young at only 26 years old. How many DK Metcalfs are out there in the National Football League today? Definitely not many. There might just be one, right? Because he's that big, he is that fast, he is that strong, and you just don't find those guys every single year in the draft. He's one of the most irreplaceable wide receivers in the National Football League, and at only 26 years old, the Seattle Seahawks would be fools to let him go via trade. And I think the only way that DK ends up becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler this year, if he straight up demands a trade out of Seattle, which I really, really don't think is going to happen, but let's say it does. What would it cost to get DK Metcalf into the Steelers building? Well, I think it's going to cost probably a couple of day 2 picks, a second rounder in 2025 and a third rounder in 2026. Plus, Seattle would want something to kind of help them out this year. And I think that would be interior offensive line help, trade James Daniels to Seattle. And then the Steelers get DK Metcalf and then Anthony Bradford, a fourth-round player that was taken last year for the Seattle Seahawks that could still compete with Mason McCormick at right guard. Now, I do think actually the more likely wide receiver trade target on the Seattle Seahawks is not DK Metcalf. It's actually Tyler Lockett. All right, he's older. He's still got a great connection with Russell Wilson. If they're looking to unload one of these wide receivers, I would think that Tyler Lockett, being the older receiver, being the guy, that has been here longer, but, his contract's starting to expire here, I feel like this would probably be the move for Seattle if they want to unload one of their receivers, and it would cost a lot less than DK Metcalf, all right? So, yes, you still have that kind of swap between Daniels and Bradford here, but you get Tyler Lockett for that 5th-round pick there. So that's certainly something that I think Seattle would consider. Lockett's getting older. If they're looking to unload him, they obviously don't value him all that highly. And I think the Steelers, from their perspective, Tyler Lockett is that deep threat that they've been looking to add to this team here in the last couple months since the draft. So I think this would be an excellent fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And honestly, I think I would probably go pursue Tyler Lockett instead of DK Metcalf at this point. But which one would you rather take here? Would you rather trade more to go get DK Metcalf, or would you rather trade less to get a guy in Tyler Lockett that Russell Wilson still has a great connection with? Type Metcalf or Lockett. Which trade are you taking? Let me know down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, let me know which trade you would take. So now let's shift over to Justin Fields here, where some believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers should give Justin Fields a similar extension to what the Green Bay Packers gave to Jordan Love last year as he was entering the final year of his 4-year rookie contract. Remember, Green Bay declined Jordan Love's 5th-year option, so they gave him an extension here that goes through this season. So pretty much the way that things go here when it comes to Jordan Love and his extension is that they pretty much gave him $13 million guaranteed for this year, and they have $9 million in various incentives that he can hit throughout the season. So he can make up to $22 million this year, and then you're probably going to get another extension for Love where he's going to be making like $55 million, all right, because that's where the quarterback market is right now. So when you look at Justin Fields, and this is what it would have to look like here, and put an additional year on Justin Fields' contract here. $13 million in guarantees is what they gave to Jordan Love. $9 million in incentives, which they gave to Jordan Love. And then the money has to come from the contract is going to be spread out over 3 void years. For Love, it's 2025 through 2027. And then for Fields, it would be 2026 through 2028. So listen, man, when it comes to Justin Fields and whether or not they should, go with this strategy of giving Justin Fields, who's going to be their backup quarterback this year, by the way, and give him $13 million, I just don't really see that happening for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'll give you guys my thoughts here in just a second. But before we get into my thoughts on potentially giving Justin Fields a Jordan Love type extension, I want to have a word from our sponsor here at Fanatics. And if you believe in Justin Fields and you think that he is the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers, go to chatsports.com/Fields right now to pick up a brand new Justin Fields jersey today. And also, if you're planning on getting a Fields jersey and you want to help out the channel, this is an opportunity for you to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because when you go to chatsports.com/Fields, you click that link. I'll put it in the comments and description, and then you make a purchase. Fanatics is going to kick us some of the proceeds, guys, to make more Steelers content for you every single day. So if you want a Justin Fields jersey, if you want to help out the channel, you can do so right now by going to chatsports.com/Fields. So now maybe Pittsburgh would like to make this deal, right? Maybe they would love to get Justin Fields under contract for the next 2 to 3 years to kind of lock him in here in the Steel City. But honestly, if I'm Justin Fields, guys, I probably wouldn't take it, all right? I know that I'm on a 1-year contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, and honestly, I'd probably want to keep my options open if I were Fields, because I want to start as soon as possible. And listen, man, when it comes to next year's crop of NFL rookies, you got like Carson Beck, maybe like Jalen Milroe or somebody rises up the ranks, and maybe you have 2 or 3 quarterbacks in next year's class that is going to be worth a first-round pick. And then there's usually like 8 to 10 teams looking for new quarterbacks every year in the NFL. If I'm Justin Fields, I'm saying, hey, man, I'm still high upside. I just took a year to learn from Russell Wilson. I'd want to keep my options open in case there's another team out there that wants to give me a starting opportunity. Whereas if I'm Justin Fields and I lock myself here with the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next 3 years and Russell Wilson wins 12, 13 games next year and he gets a big extension, then essentially I'm locked into a backup role until, my legs are going to be pretty much gone and my prime is going to be over. That's not something that I would want. If I was Justin Fields and if I were him, I wouldn't even think about signing an extension and I would test free agency next year. Now, if a quarterback on the Steelers does get extended, I do think it'll be Russell Wilson. He's going into the year being expected to be that guy for the Steelers throughout the entirety of the season. They're not really planning on replacing Russ with Fields midway through the season or anything like that. They believe Russell Wilson gives them their best chance to win a championship. And remember, they don't give extensions during the year. So if somebody gets an extension before the season starts, I believe it'll be Russell Wilson, who this team believes is their future for the next 3 to 4 years. Now, who gets extended? Let me know down there in the comment section. Who's more likely to get that big payday? Type RW for Russell Wilson or type JF for Justin Fields. Let me know how you're feeling about the quarterback situation down there in the comments. So now let's get into the wide receiver target here that Bleacher Report had for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. And I thought it was pretty interesting because we haven't talked about him even once on the channel this entire offseason. And it's former Chief 49er and Giant wide receiver Richie James, somebody that even on the Chiefs wide receiver room last year, which we all know wasn't very good, he wasn't even a full-time starter on that unit. So, what the heck, man? Bleacher Report saying the Steelers should go out and get this guy. Let's take a look at his numbers here over the last 4 years. It's definitely not fantastic. Only 10 catches last year. His average was fine, but no touchdowns. The year before that with the Giants, there's a reason why the Giants got rid of him, right? 4 touchdowns, pretty much as a full-time starter, played in all 17 games. Richie James is a backup wide receiver, guys. And the fact that Bleacher Report went out and said the Steelers should get him as their next wide receiver too, I think is completely crazy. And I'm going to pass on this, folks. All right, I think that the Steelers wide receiver room is pretty okay the way that it is right now. And listen, if you want to add Brandon Ayuk, great. If you want to add Tyler Lockett, great. If you can get DK Metcalf in a trade, great. But I'm not going to be adding a guy like Richie James, who guys like Quez Watkins, Calvin Austin III, and Van Jefferson are all better than, in my opinion. And I just don't think this is a good idea whatsoever. Now, what the Pittsburgh Steelers might do here is that instead of picking up a wide receiver like a Michael Thomas or a Brandon Ayuk or a Tyler Lockett, is that they just stick with the guys that they have and they see how they do during training camp, okay? Roman Wilson is expected to rise up the ranks this year to be the number 2 receiver for the Steelers. But then, there's a hodgepodge of different guys that could move their way up the depth chart, right? It's going to be a big competition in camp between Calvin Austin III, who is super impressive during OTAs, Van Jefferson, who was brought in this offseason, Quez Watkins the same, and then Scotty Miller. All 4 of those guys are really going to be competing for that number 3 and number 4 wide receiver spots. And honestly, guys, you have to remember that Pat Freiermuth is one hell of a receiver as well. So we talk about wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, but you got a really good wide receiver 2, in my opinion, in Pat Freiermuth, who looked absolutely deadly during Steelers OTAs this year. So listen, if you break it down, George Pickens is the 1, Pat Freiermuth is the 2, Calvin Austin III starts the year as the 3, and then Roman Wilson starts the year as the 4, moves his way up to the 3 spot. I think that's a pretty decent breakdown there for the Pittsburgh Steelers, given that they stay healthy, and then that also gives them the flexibility to potentially make a trade at the deadline for a big-name receiver as well. Now, predict it for me down there in the comment section. Will the Pittsburgh Steelers add more wide receivers before the start of camp? Give me a yes or give me a no. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section. That'll be it for today's News and Rumors segment here on Steelers Talk. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already to enjoy more Steelers content every single day for free right here on YouTube.